we do have Mr. Iyovwaye joining us from our Abuja studio. Good morning, Mr. Iyovwaye. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Great. We apologize for that. I had the wrong setting right there. But you come with a lot of conversation on the hidden treasures in the Niger Delta. And even before we came on, we did explore some of the chapters in your book. Being an author and a deacon also. But of course, you want to share with us today the treasures in the Niger Delta. Maybe you should give us, we've seen some of your chapters. You have 14 chapters, 220 pages of the book. And I am curious because one of your chapters is talking about the agriculture potential opportunities in the Niger Delta. And we know that agriculture and oil and gas do not exactly go hand in hand. But maybe you should give us an overview first, and then we can delve into some of those details.
Well, I thank you, for having me, and I count it a great privilege, to be able to present the hidden treasures in the Niger Delta. The treasures as they are, they're not really hidden. They're hidden in the sense that, there's not been an intentional arrangement, to look at, at these treasures. Every time, you talk about the Niger Delta, the narrative has always been that of militancy and crisis, and all of that. But I tend to think differently, As far as I'm concerned, I think the Niger Delta, as it is today, with the exigencies of managing the area, which is from the states of Ondo to that of Abia, 9 states in all of them, as diverse as they are, they speak probably about 40 ethnic groups speaking over 250 languages. The treasures that you have there is mind-boggling. And it's a burden in my heart that, in spite of these treasures, people don't tend to see it. More often than not, it's all about, hydrocarbon, which, okay, that's a treasure that has been gifted to us, and by that extension, gifted to this great country and this part of the world. But beyond that, you have other treasures. You have uranium, you have gold, you have feldspar, you have manganese, you have limestone, you have lignite, you have dolomite. The list is endless. And you wonder that, should they be responsibly exploited? We will not be talking about the kind of, GDPs and, IGRs that we talk about. Those have been left on the sidelines. And this is why, I have it as a burden to present it before the world. I've taken time by reason of my engagement as I speak on this particular subject around the world. And, I've been asked, we enjoy every time you speak about it. Can you reduce it into a book? And they said anything written down, is written for prosperity, for posterity. And I've taken this to do that. And I think I have a wonderful book here that will ignite the enthusiasm in the area so that people can now look at these treasures as they are.
So you have it shared into 14 chapters. I was listing earlier about the overview, the Niger Delta people, the historical development of oil in Nigeria, oil and gas resources in the region, security in the Niger Delta, in the Niger Delta, leveraging technology to attract investment opportunities in the oil and gas, indigenous players in the sector, emerging potential analysis of the Nigerian oil and gas, opportunities in the marginal fields, agricultural potentials, harnessing the blue economy, mineral elements diversity, and I guess that's where you talked about the other minerals also in the region, and then critical success in business and entrepreneurship. Now, a lot of interesting chapters here we see, especially the security part, which we know has been a major challenge, which we know has not been solved totally yet, because when you talk about vandalism, kidnapping, oil theft, we still hear a whole lot of it. But you were bringing the aspects of leveraging technology to attract investment. I wonder if you were looking at domestic investors or foreign investors. Where do you balance that?
Well, thank you. That's a very good question. The truth of the matter is, you have the people, as it were, which, you look at the people and what they represent. We took time, for the chapters that we have just read, to look at the icons of that particular area, looking at all the stratas, of human development. And we found out that in every area, whether it is in the corporate world, whether it is in medicine, whether it's in entertainment, whether it's in banking, the people from that area are right at the top. So we have taken time to look at all of that and, present before the world and the public, what we have in that area that have not been properly announced. And we believe that once there's a genuine handshake between government and the people, much more can be annexed from that area. So I've taken time to chronicle, what you can find in the area and its people. Then if you want to zero down on, what you're talking about, security, in sense, I've taken down in chapter 5 to look at the security issues in the area. More often than not, they tell you, you don't want to go there, the wrong narrative of crisis and militancy and all of that. You don't need to go there. And so I see that, as a wrong, perspective. The truth, you can't have more difficult security situations like you have in Colombia, and if they've taken time, to be able to look at that issue of security, they've been able to, and the case of, in terms of Rwanda, for example, they had deep security issues, and they've been able to, to surpass all of that, and they have, a more hospitable climate, for investment. So what we are saying here is that, security as it is, as I present in this book, that insecurity in itself is an opportunity for investment. Today, technology has made it easy for everyone. You can be, in any part of the world, and, you can apply drones and all of that. You can check everything before, having interventions. So these are the things that we are saying, that it should not be an issue, for people to shy away. And the investors that we're trying to look at, that we're asking, come and invest in this area, is both, locals and the international community. We believe that, what is in the Niger Delta, is enough. I was speaking somewhere, in London early this year, on a conference, and I was telling them about the investment opportunities in the Niger Delta. And an American came and said, look, well, thank you for the way you have presented it, but there are a number of things that doesn't make investors come. And one of them, he said, he actually said security, our attitude to time management, Medicare and things like that, But he also mentioned that 60% of the resources needed to take the entire world forward is in Africa. And most of those resources is in the Niger Delta. So I've taken time to chronicle this, and I believe that in the chapters, that chapter after chapter, to showcase what we have as a people in the Niger Delta.
And then another chapter, I believe that's chapter 7, you looked at indigenous players in the oil and gas sector. Well, I guess anybody who hears indigenous players, the first name that comes up is Dangote, but I know it's beyond that.
Oh, well, I have a copy of the book here for those of us who will be coming for the public presentation here in Abuja on the 21st in Ladi Kwali Hall in the former Sheraton, now Abuja Continental. We're going to be taking time to look at this subject. When you look at those who have invested, Dangote is one of many, quite a number of them who have, they can't regret it, they've done that. And the return on investment is obvious. You can see it. You have, a retinue of individuals who have invested in that area, and they thank God for it. So that's why we're taking that look. If that has happened to this, there's still much more, of what. But beyond anything, hydrocarbon is good. That's what we are known for. But what I'm saying here now, that beyond hydrocarbon, there's so much more resources that have to be looked at that could possibly, in totality, make hydrocarbon a child's play. These are the things that investors are not looking at, and that's what we want people to look at.
And then in chapter 11, you brought up agriculture, which is a sensitive matter because, we've heard so many stories and realities right there in our faces of almost the death of agriculture in the Niger Delta region because of the oil and gas activities, fishing, farmlands, and all those consequences of it. So I wonder why you included agriculture in this.
Well, I must tell you, you can take this to the bank. When you talk about, agriculture, more often than not, they want to say, okay, because of the degradation, the oil spillage and all of that. Niger Delta is broken into, you have, as much as you have the river and right area, you also have, the uplands, where you have a lot of agriculture. And you must remember that the mainstay of the economy before 1956, it wasn't oil and gas, it wasn't hydrocarbon, it was fishing and farming. Those, were the mainstay of the economy of the region. And that's by which we excelled, into agriculture. And I must tell you, sir, and Ma, that, look, the land in the Niger Delta is as fertile as anything. As fertile as anything. I was speaking somewhere, my little boy came and brought homework. And he said, we're asked to, put bean seedling in sand and see how it grows. We did that in the morning. By the next morning, there was blade. That's to tell you how fertile our land is. The land is so fertile and it's not been exploited. And when you talk about agriculture, it's not zero down, to agriculture in terms of planting, cash crops or as it were. Agro-business is wide. And that is the business. Before hydrocarbon, there were mega businesses. And it was predominantly on agriculture. They were mega business. And after hydrocarbon is on its way out, and there's still going to be mega businesses. And I believe it's going to be in agriculture. Agriculture is so wide. If you're talking about animal husbandry, it's so wide. You're talking about fishery and all of that. The ocean economy in the region has not been exploited at all. And these are the things we want to bring to the front burner so that investors can look at it and see what it is. So that what you have in the Niger Delta can take us, probably for 1,000 years.
And the final chapter there, chapter 14, you talked about critical success in business and entrepreneurship. I guess one way of attracting more success is to flaunt the success you already have in the country and from that region.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you the success in that region. I've been a player in the industry. I started business in the area with zero capital, in the area, starting business in Warri. I'm a Warri boy, as it were, starting business there. And being involved in that space, I've been able to grow a business, in the business space, from ground zero, from nothing. And as it is today, I am now a market leader in the entire continent of Africa in that particular space. So what we are saying, these things are possible. And I represent, what it is, to invest in an area. And I'm really calling on Nigerians, particularly those of them in diaspora and the international community, to look at what is possible in the area.
All right, and to wrap all of this up, what's the next plan? You talked about a launch and all of that. What are you doing? How are you getting the book across to people? How can people reach you? How can people get the book?
First of all, I really want to invite the public to, we are doing a public presentation. We are unveiling this book that is being driven by the Dick and Chris Iyovwaye Foundation. The first is going to be on the 21st of this month, which is exactly a week from today, at the Ladi Kwali Hall here in Abuja. And then on the 25th, in the Monarchy Epic Arena in Warri. We're inviting the public to come and be a part of this presentation. I'm sure it's going to spark off, a new dimension of what it is, to invest in an area.
Okay, so I mean, you're going to have an event there, and I believe you have a lot of stakeholders. Are you planning to push some of the conversations you're starting in your book, to make it reality?
Oh, yes, yes. We have, quite a number of individuals. We have reached out, to the corporate world. We have reached out to government. We have reached out, to people represented in that area. And we also have, the person of Professor Mike Ezekima, who is the keynote speaker, to come and do a book review and to do a presentation on the book to the public so that we can look at it chapter after chapter and to see, how it does benefit Nigeria and even beyond.
All right, we certainly wish you the very best, both at the ceremony and in pushing the book, and of course making impact with the hidden treasures and exposition of the rich resources and opportunities of the Niger Delta, as you have tagged it. The Chief Executive Officer of Wellman Group and founder of the Chris Iyovwaye Foundation, and also the author of the book, The Hidden Treasures. Wish you the best.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm grateful. Thank you.